Hello, today is May 15th. It's now 7:01 p.m. and here we are again another week recording one of the worst podcasts of all time. Okay, like this is probably the worst ongoing podcast of all time. This is probably the worst podcast of all time that has for more than 30 episodes. Okay, here we are again under another week, and I don't have anything to talk about this week, just like I didn't have anything to talk about last week or any other week. I never have anything to talk about, so I'm just going to get to the point. What I'm going to talk today is about the 100 man against a gorilla debate. Sorry, I think I'm getting kind of sick. I might have a cold or something. But yes, today I'm going to be talking about 100 men versus a gorilla. But I won't talk about 100 men versus a gorilla because I didn't get too much into that meme, But one thing that I noticed is how sexism and misogyny is engraved in our society because of all of the discussions, all of the memes that came to be because of that discussion. I have never seen anyone talking about what if it's not man fighting the gorilla? What if it's woman fighting the gorilla? Why isn't that a thing? And I came to the conclusion that it must be sexism, right? It must be misogyny, right? It must be the sexism that is engraved in our society. And memes are a reflection of our society, right? So today I'm not going to debate if 100 men can defeat a gorilla. I'm going to debate if 100 women can defeat a gorilla, okay? And I think we gotta be just here, okay? We gotta be fair. I'm not sexist, okay? Because, I might be the only person on the whole internet that is even debating the possibility of 100 women being able to beat a gorilla. So I am clearly not sexist. But I'm not stupid, There's a difference between the male physiology to a woman's, right? Unless that woman was not biologically born a woman. You get what I mean? But anyways, let's not get into that. We could get into that later. But there's differences, right? So we gotta take that into account. So how can we even the playfield between 100 women and 100 men in these debates? And what I thought about is we have to let women wield weapons in that fight, right? It can't be like fire weapons because that would be way too overpowered, and you can't give them spears too because that would be too easy. So we have to give the 100 woman weapons, but not that strong of weapons. So I was thinking about day-to-day things that we use that could be used as weapons, right? Like home utensils, right? Things that we use day-to-day, like a knife, a kitchen knife maybe, maybe a frying pan, to have that blunt damage multiplier, maybe even a washing machine. A washing machine, every house has one, and I think it would make a pretty good weapon, maybe. So Maybe the 100 woman could be wielding those types of weapons, right? A kitchen knife, a frying pan, a washing machine, you know, you know when when your mom is angry at you and she throws a fucking cloth at you, the kitchen thing that we use to dry things, when you spin that thing around and make it like a whip, a cloth whip, they could use that. That would even out the playing field, and I think that maybe that way woman could also beat a gorilla. 100 women wielding those types of weapons, they could probably beat a gorilla, I think. But let's be real here, okay? Women are very powerful, and I bet that a single woman would be capable of defeating a gorilla, actually. Okay, just like you guys are debating if 100 men can beat a gorilla, mates, a single woman can beat a gorilla, okay? And that's a thing that no man can achieve, okay? And how can a woman beat a gorilla? All she has to do is catch his t-shirts thrown in the fucking bed, okay? And then she storms out of the bedroom to see where her gorilla husband is, so she can teach him a lesson, and she's going to be like, how many fucking times have I told you to not leave the fucking shirt on the fucking bed, you fucking stupid cunt, you never listen to me. And that would make the gorilla flee, the gorilla husband flee, and he would lose by disqualification. So that's how a single woman can beat a gorilla, and that's something that no man can achieve. And that's the whole joke that I had planned, okay? Sorry, I didn't, I never promised a good joke, okay? I never promised anything, okay? I mean, that's what people have been talking about in the internet in this past week. And, whenever I think about what I'm going to say here in the podcast, I try to get into the trends so I can be part. Maybe because talking about the trends is going to make me famous or something like that, right? So that's what I thought. I was like, okay, I have to talk about this topic, but what can I talk about it? So I started thinking, and that's the best that I could come up with. That's what I have. That's the joke. Oh shit! 8 minutes in, and I'm already out of jokes, and my mouth hurts because I fucking gagged in a dick the whole fucking no. My mouth hurts, my teeth hurts, my throat hurts. Maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I shouldn't be recording this. I don't care how long this fucking podcast lasts, okay? If it's fucking 10 minutes, man, I don't care. I'm going to fucking upload this. Because I'm tired of not recording this shit every week. Okay. So yeah, that was the joke, okay? And, despite it not being a good joke, I was thinking about it this week. And I decided to ask for ChatGPT to illustrate that battle, of 100 women wielding kitchen knives against a gorilla, and ChatGPT came with some good stuff. I'm probably going to use as a thumbnail. There's even a small Easter egg, I guess you could say that when I saw it, it was pretty funny. I think that was pretty funny, actually. Okay, maybe if someone watches or listens to this podcast, they are going to find this funny too. But anyways, yeah, that's the joke that I have about the gorilla thing. And you know, I thought I was going to die today, this afternoon. I don't know about you guys, but I I can't poop outside of my house, you know. I do not poop in public spaces. I do not poop even in private spaces if it's not in my own house, right? I don't like to poop outside of my house. You know, I don't like to leave a stinky bathroom for other people to use, and I'm one of those people that always take a shower after pooping, right? So I don't like to poop outside of my house. But actually, I don't know why I said but. You know, there's no reason for me to say but there because you know I'm not Anyways, so I don't poop at work, for example. You know, I spend a lot of time. I spend most of my day at work, right? So, and I don't poop there. I poop in my house before going to work, and I usually poop after I get home, right? So you know, most of the days it's fine, but today it was not, you know, because I started getting the urge to poop at home at work, and I was like, okay, this is not going to happen. Okay, I'm not going to poop at work. It's not happening. You can fucking give up on that idea. So you know, I was not going to poop, but then gases started forming in my belly. Okay, and at first I was going to hold out until until I went to the bathroom. I was going to hold out the gases until I went to the bathroom. However, it was different this time. You know, I really felt like heavy gases forming in my asshole. Like I felt like it started to hurt, like my guts started to hurt because of the gases. So now I had a problem because I know myself, and I know if I went to the bathroom to fart, it would be too noisy. You know, there was no sneaking in that fart. Like that fart was going to be like a nuke. It was going to be stinky and it was going to be loud. Now the problem is the bathroom at the purse at the place that I work at. You know, the walls are thin, but that's not the worst part. The worst part is that the bathroom is very closely located to the cafeteria. It's very close to the kitchen area, you know, where people eat, where people make their food, where people hang out. It's very close, like it's like right on the side. So if I went to the bathroom and I repeated a fart, and if it was very loud, like a lot of people would hear that, and I and there was no way that was going to happen, right? That there was no way that I was going to take that risk. So now I was in a very dire situation because I was not going to poop, and like now I really couldn't poop because if I were to poop, at the time that the shit would come out of my butt, it would make like I would fart by accident. You can't hold the fart while shitting, right? I don't think you can. Is that even possible? Like when you are pooping, like you are going to fart if you are holding out gases. So there was no way I was going to poop now, and there was no way I could fart in the bathroom. Okay. So I started getting kind of sick. Like I was actually hurting. Like I was feeling physically sick. Like my stomach started hurting. You know, I felt my belly getting, I felt my guts feeling pressured. I felt my belly expanding. I felt my jeans strangling my core. I had to fasten my belt because like it was hurting. And then I started remembering, because when I don't know if you guys has had this experience on high school, but I had once. You know, someone farted in the classroom. It was not me, I promise. Someone farted in the classroom, and we all laughed, we all smelled it, nobody knew who it was, but we all knew it happened, right? So we joked about, the teacher joked about it, but the teacher was like, okay, it's all fun and jokes, but let's be real. If you have to go to the bathroom, if you have to rip a fart, you can talk to me, you can go to the bathroom, you don't have to hold it in because it's very dangerous, right? And you always have this conversation some moment in your life where someone is going to teach you how bad and how dangerous it is to hold the fart in. And everybody has a story about someone they know that literally fucking exploded. And so this teacher, she was saying to us this story of this guy that had to go to the hospital because he was holding a fart for so long that his fucking insides exploded. And we, as very impressionable teenagers, 14, 15 years old, we believed that shit, and that shit stuck with me. Now I am a little bit older, but I'm not wiser and I'm not more intelligent. So I don't know if she was fucking with us. I don't know if she invented that history. I don't know if that even is possible to happen. But a part of me, since I don't know, a part of me still believes that. So now, here I am, on the present moment, at work, holding this fart in, with all of my strength, and my belly's hurting, my asshole is hurting, my pants are fucking tight as fuck, and I'm sweating, my teeth is hurting now, I have a headache, and I am hungry, but my belly is also full. And this whole situation sucks, and I start feeling my guts expanding, it was hurting in a way that I don't know if I ever felt that pain before. It was not like an excruciating pain, it was not unbearable, but I felt like I felt like my guts were being ripped apart by the pressure of the gases. And I started remembering this history of the guy that had to go to the hospital, and I was thinking, is that even possible? And then I started thinking about those histories of people that die alone, and nobody finds them for 3 weeks, and when they finally find the person dead, they exploded because of the gases inside them, and when they find the person, they find a bloated carcass that has exploded because all of the gases built up, and then it blew out their guts. And I started remembering those histories, and I was like, what if that happens to me? What if I exploded? What if I exploded but I was still alive? That would be such a terrible way to die, right? That would be so pathetic. This guy died because his guts exploded because he didn't fart. And and I started freaking out. In one hand, I didn't know if holding it in was really that dangerous. But on the other hand, I was contemplating my life and what would I leave to the next generations? Would that be my legacy? Was that how my history was going to end? Exploding because I didn't want to fart? And then they would, first of all, I would explode in the middle of work, and I would make the people that I work with witness that horrible death. They would see a guy dying with his guts exposed, shit all over the place. I would probably shit myself when I died because of my guts would explode and expel shit everywhere. And they would witness this horrible way to die. And then on the biopsy, they would find out that I died because I didn't fart, right? Like, is this the history that I want to leave to the world? Sorry, my teeth is fucking hurting, man. Holy shit, it hurts so bad. I might have to call it out because it hurts so fucking much. But yeah, that's the history of how I died, of how I almost died today at work. So, but despite all that, I refused to fart. So I'm going home and I walk to work. I don't like to drive much, so I like to take walks to work, and I like to walk back home. So I'm walking back home, and it's a lot of climbs. Like it's like my workplace is at a lower point than my house, so there's a lot of up streets to get to my house, and I'm like almost shitting my pants on the streets walking home, trying to walk fast, but then I can't walk fast because I also started training legs and my legs hurt. So like there's a limit on how fast I can go, and at the same time I'm trying not to fart because I have farted in the street before, but like I said, I knew that whenever I farted it was going to be a loud one. So I had to hold it in because, if I farted in the middle of the street the way that I was, everybody would look at me. It was going to be like a nuke in the middle of the city. So, I get home, I unlock the door, I get inside, and I rip a big one. It felt very good. It felt very good. However, I do not recommend anybody to do this. Okay, that's a terrible way of, that's a terrible thing to do. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't be a freak like me that I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why am I like this. Like, when I told my coworkers that in 5 years I had never pooped at my workplace, they didn't believe me. They actually thought that there was something wrong with me, that there's something psychologically wrong with me. Like, there's a girl that I work with that she's going to how do you say this? She's taking, she's going to college, and her class is psychology. She wants to be a psychologist. And when I said that to her, when we were talking about pooping at work, and I mentioned that I had never pooped at work, she was like actually concerned, right? She's in the last year of college, of psychology college, and like she was like actually concerned. She was like, okay, this is not normal. Okay, like you are, that's an obsession. Like nobody cares, man. Like why don't you poop? Like, are you freaked out that people will find out? And I was like, no, it's none of that. I don't poop at work because I like to take a shower every time I poop. I afterwards. Not while I'm pooping. I like to take a shower afterwards. And they were like, oh, okay, sounds reasonable. And I had to explain to them that I poop before going to work and after I get home from work. And that clarified things a little bit, I guess. But yeah, I don't know why. I know there's a lot of people like me out there. I know there's a lot of men like me out there that don't poop outside of their houses, And I just wonder why. Why? Why are we like this? Like, is it the ego? Is it a ego thing? I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking know. Speaking of ego, last week I watched a movie called Revolver. It's by Guy Ritchie and it's from 2005. And the movie is about ego basically, it's like a crime movie, but they are obviously, it's inspired by this ego theme, It's like it's not a typical crime movie, because it makes its theme very fucking clear to you what it's about actually, it's about the, I don't know, I guess philosophical discussion of the ego and how it affects life. I don't fucking know, maybe. But the thing is, I liked the movie a lot. It was very interesting and made me reflect a lot about stuff. And the thing is, in those movies, right, in the books, the way they portray the ego in like self-help books and movies and series like that, it's like ego is something that you kill. It's like a moment of enlightenment that you have and your life changes forever, which is fucking bullshit, right? Like, you can't just control your ego all of the fucking time. Like, it's not a switch that you just flip off and it's never going to bother you again, right? But after you watch that movie, after you see something related to that theme, you're like, okay, I want to try this out. I want to try being an enlightened person that is not controlled by their own ego, right? So after watching that movie, it really messed with me in a good way because it was a great movie. So I was like, okay, I gotta try this out, man. I gotta tame this beast that is inside me that rages with obsessive thoughts and crazy and stupid and delusional ideas, right? I have to tame this thing inside of my head, that tells me things that at best don't add anything to my life, and at worst just messes me up, right? Just fucking sabotages me. So I was determined to kill my ego. Not really, because I knew that shit's not possible, okay? Like, in the movie, there's this whole elevator scene where the guy is trying to control himself, and after he's able to control himself and shuts that voice down, shut his ego down, he just becomes enlightened, and every scene that shows him afterwards, he has this serene and calm look in his face, and and he looks like a fucking elder sage from a village of Africa that knows the answers to the life. He looks like this super chill guy that does not care. But that's bullshit. Like, you can control your ego sometimes, Sometimes you can think something stupid, look, analyze that thoughts, and be like, okay, this is very stupid. There's probably an underlying reason why I thought this, why I had this idea, why I got pissed at this, or why I want this. There's probably a very good explanation that shows me that this is just a trick, just just an illusion of a part of me that wants to be something that it's not. Right? So, but anyways, I was like, okay, I know all that, but I would like to try, you know, if not killing my ego, I would like to suppress my ego. And that shit's not possible. Okay, that shit's not possible. Yeah, you can, like, you know, the nights, I watched the movie at night. When I went to bed, I was the most peaceful man on earth. I had no thoughts in my mind. I felt like I was in control, and I slept soundly. Okay, it was a very pleasant night of sleep. Next day, I tried, but it's impossible. Okay, it's impossible. And I don't even think that it matters that much, to be honest with you. The ego probably exists for a reason. You don't have to kill it. Just be aware of it, If you are hearing this voice from yourself in your head, you gotta understand that voice is not actually you, right? That's not who you are as a person. It's just a part of you. It's just a part of you, but it is a part of you. And sometimes your body is also part of you. Like, your body is not completely you. Your body is a very big part of you, but it's not you. It's not your whole. And sometimes your body wants things from you. Sometimes your body wants you to drink more water. Sometimes your body needs you to have more sugar. Sometimes your body needs to have more protein. Sometimes your body needs to have more vitamins. And your body wants those things from you. And sometimes we don't give what our bodies want. Sometimes our bodies wants a lot of shit. Sometimes our bodies need chocolate when it does not, sometimes our body wants chocolate. It does not need chocolate, but it wants chocolate, so we give it chocolate. Sometimes our body needs salads and vitamins, and we don't give vitamins or salads to our body. You see what I mean? So this part of who we are, which is physical, yes, but it's a part of who we are. Like, we don't always listen to this part of who we are. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, right? And I think the ego, first off, I don't even know if the ego actually exists. I don't know if it's a theory, if it's proven to exist or not. But the ego is just a part of us. Just like when you eat chocolate, you don't kill yourself afterwards because of it. You also shouldn't kill your ego because it's being annoying and bringing you down, right? What you can do is you can try to tame it and try to suppress it a little bit when it has to be suppressed, when it's being extremely annoying and extremely harmful, and and it's making you delay your plans or doubt yourself. So that's what I think you need to do, because the ego exists, and it probably exists for a reason. And just like you control your body, you should also try to control your ego. You do not have to kill it, I guess. I don't know. Just a thought, because to be honest with you, you watch the movie, you see the guy being all serene, like, he seems like Buddha, he seems like he reached nirvana, but you know that 2 weeks afterwards, the guy's going to be crazy again, right? He's going to be having obsessive thoughts again. He's going to be fucking snoring coke in someone's dick, I guess. So, it's kind of bullshit, this portrayal that, this, you know, like everything is better if it's balanced, right? You can't let your ego take hold of yourself and do everything that it wants, but you can't, and it's probably not possible either to kill your ego completely, I guess. you know it probably is not possible, and it probably wouldn't be good. I think like it's 46 minutes. I want to do more, but my fucking teeth hurts a lot. My mouth is fucking hurting a lot, and I think I'm going to go home because I didn't think this was going to be so painful. It's actually very fucking painful. That part of your mouth, like the last teeth, the ones on the edges of your mouth. You know how there's like those teeth that are there but they didn't come out. They very hairily bother me, but it decided to start bothering me now, and it fucking hurts a lot. And I hope next week it does not hurt so much because I want to record again next week. So I'm going to go for now. Okay, this has been a very, very short one. Okay, because I had to do the gorilla joke, and things move too fast in the internet. Okay, maybe it's already outdated, right? Maybe that meme is already outdated. Nobody cares anymore. But if I were to wait one more week, it surely would be a completely mistiming. So I had to come here and record this today, so I could get on the bandwagon. So yeah, I'm going to go because this fucking teeth is killing me. Holy fucking shit, it hurts. Bye.